palms together. Begin. Exhale and exhale and breathe in. Go ahead.
Adgare name, Jagadgare name, Sadgare name, Gurudeva name, Sadgare name, Jagadgare name, Sadgare name, Siri Gurudeva name, Adgare name, Jagadgare name, Sadguru Name, Sri Gurudeva.
Long breath, heart breath. And now, how about our chat?
Sure. Okay. As you know, Baba Siddhi Chand and our sibling beings deeply suggest how to help ourselves and other people to heal us and to become loving and compassionate. Keep your notes. So we'll do 1 minute of heart pumping and 5 minutes of heart breath.
Okay. Do you all understand that? Does anybody understand?
How to help ourselves and to heal us and become loving and compassionate?
Yes.
I think I can understand that.
Okay. That's great. Okay, so now let's begin. Okay. 1 minute heart breath pumping and begin. And now continue with heart breath for 5 minutes. Continue. And Kehar, you see about the message. Harimandir, we'll still have heart breath for about 3 more heart breaths. Sat City,
Satnam.
Satnam, tune in, and we have about 2.5 more minutes for heart breath. And inhale and exhale and breathe. Good. Okay, now I'm just talking about everybody. Next time, would everybody be maybe a couple of days, no, not that, a few minutes before the beginning of our okay, it has, right now, it would have to be noontime. And wherever you are, please be a couple of minutes before so that we can sort of get to know each other or saying howdy. Okay? And now, definitely, so that not only knowing the message, but also to be totally tuned in and with the meditation. Okay, so Aagia Pal, how you doing?
Yeah, Satnam. Yeah, lots came up for this during this time, and I so Baba said uh, uh, for every action, remember there's an equal and opposite reaction, and because I said to him, people are really getting to me these days. I mean, they're really. I am having huge reactions to people, and not to mention, of course, people in power in our government. But it's very uncomfortable. And what he said was to remember what ego stands for, earth guidance only, and to ask when I feel like this, when I'm not calm, I'm not relaxed, I'm not peaceful, to go into Ho'oponopono. Just go into Ho'oponopono. And, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And just what he said was, to just continue it. Continue, continue, continue. Because equanimity, right? So what I'm sorry, quiet. What I'm really moving toward is, getting into a place of neutrality, right, and peace and calm, and it's a very, it's very um, treacherous, not treacherous, but it's tenuous. Um, it's a tenuous place to be because I can get kicked out of that place very easily. So my work right now in healing, to heal myself, is uh, to to make sure I'm aware of when my ego gets involved. Earth guidance only. Remember to ask for um, or to remember the divinity that's coming through me and my cosmic beings who are here to help, and so forth and so on, to help, because the big deal, what he said, is that I still, as much as I've worked, there's still a lot of darkness within, and there's still a lot of stuff I don't see, and darn it, I want to see it, kind of calming down all of that, and be moving into a more, shall I say, humble state of of trusting, um, um, trusting soul to, um, you know, uh, trusting soul to guide, and to, for me, giving me the highest and best. And and so, uh, therefore, I can give this to other people. So when I'm in this state, because giving for me feels like receiving, So, so that's basically what he, was saying, giving for you feels like receiving. You, in order to give more um, fully and deeply, you need to love more fully and deeply. In order to do that, you need to clear out the darkness that uh, has penetrated your being and causes you to react so negatively. Um, and it's like a reflex action. So where I have to work initially a lot on with Ho'oponopono. So there's a lot of kind of vacuuming to do with all of the uh, with a lot of the negativity that's, the kind of feeling that I see happening with with people around me. And so that's what I have to do. And I thank Baba for this guidance. And yep. And so I think that's what I need to share. Uh, yeah. So ultimate question it would be to be more neutral, and not allow myself to be so triggered, uh, so negatively impacted by, events, by people, by what people say, what people do, you know, focus on me and how I am in the world. And by doing that, of course, since we're all one, I'm essentially helping, you know, well, the wisdom traditions say, what we do now helps 7 generations before us and 7 generations um, after us, which science now and quantum mechanics is basically coming to say the same thing. So, therefore, the work that I do on myself to clean out, is really, even though I'm not aware of it, and I think sometimes, oh, yes, you're not really doing much. I really am doing. I have to convince myself a lot for everyone around me, and in the world. And yeah, so this is how I can heal myself and heal the world. So with that, I'll share the time.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
you.
Mm.
And you have your notes?
No,
Okay.
but I can write them. I mean, I I know you want us to, so I will.
Okay. Please.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
You know, Aagia Pal
Mhm.
and her Judy are just coming to us in North Carolina for about 10 days, and 2 of those Sundays have sessions that are going to call Peace Circle. Okay? And so you will be keep your notes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There is so much to say with folks, so I'm just going to see what comes up,
Good. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Guru Gian Das Prem.
No, hmm. So what it is with the communication that I'm receiving, and there's reminders of change through our patterns, and it goes into our blood and our DNA and our past experiences through our human experience. And we're being asked, with willingness, to look inner inside of our charity, our support that the earth is giving us, that we're sharing for our progression, for our diet, um, and through the modern studies of the blood and stress through our past, our struggles, our pains, our shared experiences, our noticing of experiences, maybe not so shared in certain instances. And coming back to that noticing of the stillness and the breath, of how we're learning here to exercise our being of freedom, and we're being shown through the billions of other people that there has been a lot of struggle going on throughout the thousands of years, and now we're at a point in our humanity where we're allowed to notice the information that we have received through various sources of our evolution and our archaeology and learning experiences. The epigenetics involved of that, and the pluses and the minuses of that, what happens to our DNA from our past trauma. And as healers, as coming into this body, being able to heal ourselves, each other in various ways, as are we allowed to use that power to also restrict ourselves, and sometimes that can be in a harmful way. And we can mention war and we can mention weapons, but we're cleaning up through this, our past DNA, our trauma. We're trying to look back through this whole thing, right, of who we are as a species, as humans. And there's a lot going on with the acting and with the expression through our ways and our trauma that are, coming out to everyday actions of, with the media and whatnot. So, our gathering in group meetings, as we do with our weekly friends and coming into prayer, that we're saying sort of what we're initiating here for this peace, for this freedom to come through, with support and charity, and back to the willingness. And we can get into a story here, and we can create a mission statement, but we are travelers we're constantly traveling, right? We're moving in different directions as we are on this planet, traveling through space, and we're celestial objects that are being involved with this communication. And you know there's a way of looking at that too, right? We can go outside and we can express ourselves through the life that supports us and the items that do. And for me, it's just going back into the stillness, to have the divine in the prayer as sort of a call, um, from my being. So prayer, call, as a sayer. So what I say, I am, we are, sort of moving in that direction, right? And I think there's sort of that Waheguru there a little bit too, because we are still here, in this place that we're moving through together, witnessing the many actions of our brothers and sisters, and the many items that are coming into play with those actions. And if as the actual life is being here, I'll just come back to saying Waheguru, and noticing that stillness and the people that are near and around me. And for certainly the part of the celebration of dancing and singing and using ourselves as an instrument, of celebration for this freedom to, come through in a way of healing, because there's a joyful playfulness in our full experience, that we can come through that whole way of healing, through our trauma, through our noticing the past, and who we are here with now at this point in our lives. Perhaps we have a few people in our lives, perhaps we don't have many people in our lives. So back to the support and the charity of noticing our willingness to have our abilities come join full circle with others. And yeah, Waheguru, Waheguru.
Thank you so much. Okay. Good. Thank you so much, dear. Okay, Sahaj. Sahaj, can you mute yourself?
She messaged me saying she had something to share, that she was going to share it from reclining. Maybe
Oh,
she fell asleep. Do you want to come back to her?
sure. Okay. So, Kehar, what's happening, dear? Can you talk?
Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone and I just had to unlock it to get
Okay.
to the unmute button. Um, so I started the journey with as we all do, obviously, with our own self and what's going on. And I had a re-triggering from my own actions of this, like like a mini hiatal hernia, which I had for a long time last year, and it was really unpleasant. And yeah, like it was totally my own thing, where I ate and laid down, and I could feel I was uncomfortable, but it was like I was too tired, or just I was stubborn, and I didn't want to move. Um, and my first reaction mentally was like, oh, it was just physical. But then I sat with it, and was like, no, it's more than that. Why did I take the actions? Why didn't I take the actions at that point to self-correct? Like it was, and really to me, I'm like, oh, that's self-love and compassion. Like I didn't feel well, but there was something in me. I was so tired. I had moved basically out of my house that morning and completely cleaned my bathroom and my bedroom and broke it down because I have mold and I'm out of my house for a week. So it was, when you get tired, sometimes it's like, you feel like you're doing self-care by doing things that actually aren't self-care because of patterning. And I feel like, we always tie in with each other, threads of what we all experience tie together. So I was sitting with the discomfort I have, and um there first was the realization of, it doesn't matter that we're not perfect, because nobody is perfect. And
Thank
the-
God.
I know, right? And the key is, a lot of times I think what's happening in my life and where I'm at is the energy of like Satnam or Sayan, where the core is of like love and allowance is just presence. Like if we could just be present and then allow. And I was shown the vision of, your hands cupped, right, up in front of your chest. And it's, really a common one, especially in Kundalini yoga, and there's meditations that way. And just, light filling them at the same time light is going out. So we're these receptacles, but we're also flow, givers, right? And it's a constant flow. And that presence with it, and the realization that it doesn't matter, like what Aagia Pal is saying, it doesn't matter that the darkness is there. It's just the key to like kind of healing in the day, in the moment, isn't that the discomfort gets completely gone. I mean, sometimes it does, right? And that's cool. It's like, oh wow, I feel really, light. But a couple days later, we might come back again. But that is, if we can just let a little bit of it flow, then we've done great work every day. And I I'm a teacher. I teach high school music, and I realize and then I have a lot of connections of singing and stuff in community, and I realize like how just lucky I am. I just had this really feeling of gratitude, and that I have like so many active ways of being there and being that kind of conduit in my community. And then like nature came in, and it was like I was being yelled at, like slow down. It was, and be quiet, which I really connected with presence, because nature is just total presence and acceptance. It doesn't go multitask or go away, or if you have animals, that they're just like so just in the moment, and it's so cool to be with them, and that we can connect to that frequency. But to connect with that frequency, it's like a slowing down is required, and it doesn't matter where we are because the nature is always there, but it is really important to connect. And I really got that. Like I need to go at least once a week and kind of go up in the mountains and be there for a period of time. And that nature also always holds space for itself. So you could have like a volcano going in Hawaii, but like the forests in Siberia are really chill, and they don't change, and they can feel it, right? We we don't know it with our brains, but we know it with our hearts, right? That the earth knows what's happening, and that we can be like that for the world, too. So, and anyway, yeah, it was a lot. It was really cool. So that's what I got.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, dear.
Yeah, thank you all for witnessing, and yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, Harimandir.
Well, it's interesting.
Okay.
Um, Everything everybody is saying is perfect.
Mhm.
Perfectly appropriate, or I'm not sure the words important for these times. And yes, I have two things. Before I start, I want to chant an Akal with you for my neighbor, Chuck McLeod, who died probably this weekend.
and he has no family and a lot of no friends, but fortunately one neighbor has kept in touch and was able to know when he had died. So I'd like to start off with doing that.
Okay.
Harimandir, is he the man that lived in the little corner house there?
Right across the street from me, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to lead it, Siri Gian, or?
No, I want you to.
Okay. So, hands in prayer pose, I would think it's good. Balancing the right and the left, the hands together. The more that I am teaching chair yoga and listening to different YouTube, Dr. Mandel is a fantastic guide. And so are some of the Chinese folks that are on YouTube. And what I'm finding is how important, how huge are our hands. And as you're sitting and doing this, just pressing them together, it has tremendous effects on the entire body all the time, more than we have ever known. And just grasping another person's hand has the effect of a hug. It's a connection to yourself and to others. So, okay. For Chuck, inhale deeply and exhale. And inhale to begin. One last time. And inhale deeply. Suspend the breath and guide his soul. Help him through the next few days, the 17 days, and on back to source. And relax. I was so grateful a couple of times weeks ago that that Siri Gian said that even though I'm working locally on an important issue, which is saving this beautiful green space with 100-year-old homes, that what I'm doing here, like Aagia Pal and that's Siri and everyone said, what we do has an effect not only on 7 generations only, but it affects the now everywhere, as you all have been saying. And over the last June, July, August, September, last 4 months, I have been working on putting all somebody has a radio on behind, but maybe that's somewhere else. Oh, I turn it down. Hold on. Oh, that's better. What happened Monday night at a assembly meeting of the city people in charge are saying exactly like Trump has been saying. They have been saying lies. The sadness is that most of them or all of them, I don't think they know that they are doing that. They are saying things that are not true, and they haven't budged in 4 months, even though all sorts of information has come to them. And one of the things that has come to them over and over again is the place, this small green space with 100-year-old homes in about 1 acre of buildable land, is, what was I going to say about it? It was that it is buildable, that they can put 4 apartment buildings on that little space. Because the lie has been the space is over 4 acres wide, which is a lie. It is 2.5 acres wide. It is a lie. I did the geology, the topography with the city's own cartographer, and it's only about 1 acre. And if there were to be any apartment buildings built there, they would have to widen the street from 19 feet to 50 feet. And that gives them 0.8 of an acre. So that's one of the lies. Every single one after 4 months, because the city manager said, well, how did you get to that? Nobody that is an engineer or a whatever has said that. How we cannot believe that does not exist, that information, that it's a small place. So what has come up in this last week, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, the week before this Monday, is that they hired a consultant to help them deal with housing, not so much housing available in Juneau, and guide them through this gift of this 4-acre parcel that only has 1 acre. They the only thing that was not turned in over a year ago was the engineering and geotechnical information that would show them by their own work with core samples and the whole bit. A year later, and everybody else gave their information in, is not only not going to be done until 2025. The people that were supposed to do, who were tasked to do the geotech and engineering work, when I called them, they said, we're not allowed to do it. We have to have all the houses demolished first. And that is where we are. The only thing that they needed is this geotech work to show them exactly where this 125 wide ridge with steep drop-offs that go vertically right down on either side cannot handle 150 unit apartment buildings. And that is where we are. And the lie is we have a lot of space. The lie is we have told people, told the public every step of the way. We've had lots of public input, which is a lie. The thing is, I don't think they have realized it in those terms. I don't know. That's a big, it's been preordained since early 2022 that there will be redevelopment in this one space. They've had ever since 2022 to realize that, and it's all being it's been lies. So nobody wanted to, a lot of people wanted to say there's a conspiracy, and I kept saying no, it's not. We'll figure it out. Well, it is a conspiracy, and the reason they're going so fast is because they figure there's not time enough to unfold, unenvelope the lies. So that's where we are and are going, and there are resources that are kind of popping up here and there as of Monday after 4 months. So last week when you did healing work for this, I invite you to do the heart breath for this particular time, because it's obvious now what's happening at that same lie level, that if you say it enough times, people believe you. Okay, that's it.
Okay. So, thank you. And what you're saying is to to not believe those lies. And what you are saying, what are your truths? TRUTHS.
Are you asking me what the truths are, or are you?
Yes, I'm asking.
The truth is that there is no physical way an apartment building can be built in that space.
Uh-huh.
The truth is there have been intentional, hugely intentional blockages, stoppages of public involvement. It has been rare. It has been very carefully manicured, that the public and everyone else will follow the party line, that there must be apartment buildings up there, which there can't be. But that is we hired somebody to say we could do it, and we're going to do it. But all the geology, I guess the truth is that the geology will, the engineering stuff will come out, and the lie of public participation, lack of public participation will come out. But I haven't even dealt with that part of it. I've known it, but that's a huge, that part will come out. So those are the two big ones.
Good. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
And did you know that the word apocalypse actually means revelation, meaning reveal the truth? Okay. Thank you. Okay, Sat City.
Satnam, everyone.
Satnam.
It's really uplifting and inspiring to hear everyone's experience with soul. And the message I got regarding these apartment buildings is all this fakery and the surface is about the swindle behind the scenes, the theft of the money under the illusion.
100%.
You're getting that too? It's like, there we go. So
yes, I live here, so yes.
it's such an amazing revelation, and I'm so proud of everyone in this group. The level of sat is so rich and profound. I'm so grateful. And I don't know if you guys know, but I've been in the hospital.
Yes.
And had open heart surgery.
Oh.
And I'm now a bionic woman with a special plate in my heart. I forget what it's called, but it regulates my heart, since my body can't regulate my heart. So I lived through a heart attack, which is nothing to laugh about, but it's great to be on the other side of it. And I'm right across the street. I was taken, I just keeled over, which had been happening, had already happened like 3 times. Passed out and then hit my head really hard.
Oh no.
On the ground, but I don't have a concussion. So the wonderful thing is, I'm right across this. I went immediately into the very first heart hospital that was mostly focused on men. Why were all those men in the 60s and 50s dying of heart attacks all the time? And this hospital was like the really first completely devoted heart hospital. And I got to go there. It was a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I felt myself cradled by your love. My soul kept coming back to this community, and just overwhelmed with gratitude. And I'm trying to, I'm pretty tired all the time right now as I get used to it. This heart device. And I'm still not coming out of like the coma part of it. I'm kind of in a suspended space of soul, because there was no place else to go, which was good. And what can I say? There's here's what came up thinking, reflecting and meditating with y'all, is the profound grief that, at least in my case, has been part of my incarnation into this world, and processing that grief as a process of healing. I think I really had a broken heart from karmic grief. And soul's really the only place that, for me, over these last few weeks, that's been the healing space, and the truth or sat that comes from connecting to soul and staying connected to soul. So I don't know what this grief means, and I'll be meditating on it for the next week or so, and maybe have more. I just know it's a profound, profound grief, and it seems to be resonating on a planetary level, at least on our planet. That people are deeply grieved about many things: the destruction of nature, the endlessness of war. We have many wars going on right now, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't have anything to really offer. Just I'm so grateful for this experience that I had at the Heart Hospital, Framingham Heart Hospital, where those first studies were done, and all the work with artificial hearts and all that stuff. There's some other places in the country, in the world, where it was happening, but really started here. And how the Guru, I'm so grateful for being covered and supplied and living to tell. I don't know what else to add, but my experience today in this group is the healing power of truth, and the power of truth, like in this situation about the building. Like the facades are the truth is so powerful now that it's no wonder that people are starting to recognize the shenanigans that this is all about, especially as the facts come out. Like, there's no way this enterprise, is supposedly money-making commercial enterprise, is ever going to work. So I don't know what else to say. Just really happy to be here, happy to be healing. I'm kind of out of the box for probably a good 6 weeks. Can't go back to, it's just a time of prayer, meditation, and gratitude. And I pass.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much.
No.
Okay. So, Sahaj, are you going to talk?
Yes, anytime. A few times that I decided I wasn't going to, of course, I always end up.
Okay.
Because every single person that spoke, the images came to mind, and I did actually dutifully try to start writing them down. But I do want to first say, Sat City, I'm so very glad to hear that you're on the mend and that you had access to such a perfect place.
Wonderful place.
I'm so very glad to hear that. It lifts my heart. And you sound so much yourself as ever. So God bless.
Thank you so much. You're awesome.
I gotta say, it has allowed me to reflect on my last week, which has been hellish, but it was the flu. And I don't want to minimize my experience because it's really awful. I was incapacitated, but I did not have heart surgery. So there's that. Thank you. And there's so many things that were popping into my mind right from the very beginning. Like my very first response as we were doing the breathing was I was shown like, okay, how do we do this? How do we have, I think the question was about having compassion for others or whatever. And it was just like, slow down and have compassion for yourself because everything grows from that.
Preach it, sister.
Can I get amen?
Amen. Amen.
And like that was just so powerful. And I was like, once again, this just cracks me up so much. Like I don't know what it is in me that there's this like little bit of doubt, like, oh, the magic is not going to happen. Here I am. I feel like crap. I'm really angry. And it took me 20 minutes to figure out the reason that I'm actually experiencing anger today is because I drank the first cup of coffee I've had in a week. Sometimes it's external, sometimes. So it's like, and that was all a process of having compassion for myself. If I hadn't slowed down and first of all noticed that I was angry, well, of course I've been feeling, anger about things, but it's like, oh, but you're feeling it in your body. That's interesting. Why are you feeling it so profoundly in your body today? Oh, you had a cup of coffee. Perhaps that's not the best idea today. And like, but being able to look at it like with compassion and then almost comically with that loving distance of, as a parent has for a child, when we give ourselves a little distance from our personality or our everyday self, we can look back at ourselves. I have children, so had and have children, so I can learn to give that compassion to myself. Sorry, I just
Sorry.
that makes me so sad. Anyways, and part of what came to me is that part of self-compassion, and I don't know if anybody else felt it during this eclipse season, but boy, I tuned into what is this about? And it was a rough road, but it was really about clearing the relationships that no longer serve and really clearing the decks. And since my son's death, one of the things that's been so easy to do is to clear out anything that's any person whose intentions are not pure in my life toward me.
Mm.
That might be a funny way to say it, but that's the way the words are coming out right now. And I keep going back to that thing that came out of the Oribe Nation, the Hopi. And you've been telling the people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go tell them that this is the hour. And there's something in there that says, I lost it. Well, I'll have to skip that because it just got away from me. There's just so many things coming in at once, and I tried to write all of them down, but I couldn't get it. Anyways, I'll let that go for now. But with relationships, like there's this, I think it's Dolores Cannon that offers this point of view about people in your life where where you may indeed have a soul contract with them, whether it's a sibling or a friend or whatever, where you realize that it really is harmful. You've done everything that you can. It is absolutely not working, and you need to release yourself from this. And the way she talks about it is saying to them, and not necessarily directly in physical reality, but soul to soul, saying, we tried. We really tried. But it's not working. So I'm going to tear up this soul contract. And I think she says, throw it away. And I say, I'll put it in the sacred fire. You go your way with love. I will go my way with love. And in these last 2 weeks, I did that with all of my living siblings. And I think at one time, what would have caused me a feeling of loss, or what would have made me feel that I would still be stuck in that web of perceived obligation or duty or whatever. Like when I look at it in that way, purely from a level of soul's purpose, to me, that's a beautiful way of letting things go, because it's peaceful and it does not wish any harm. And so there's no sticky strings left stuck to it. It's not an easy thing to do necessarily, but in the right moment, it worked for me. So that was like one of the things that I saw under like self-care. And I really heard what Kehar was saying. And she spoke about, you know, something that happened to her physically, and could it be related to some choices or that she made, and then looking with compassion at, oh, okay, so there's that connection. So why did I make that choice? And, you know, like, so she was also echoing this notion of self-love. And I think that just goes back to that notion of, you know, we absolutely have to start with self-love. That's the only way that we can love and have compassion for anybody else. And then when Harimandir was speaking, and I'm very familiar with this story because we live in the same town, I was absolutely floored that anybody could have ever seen that place, and everybody who lives downtown has seen it, and think that it could be 4 acres is so absolutely appalling to me that I I can't believe it, but it's like a microcosm, and that's what I was shown. It was like, this is a microcosm of what's going on the national level here now. And and when she was speaking about you know, how can these people, with confronted with all this truth and being given all this information, like how can they persist? But like I heard, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And like, as galling as that may be, it is also true that there are people who will cling to their notions. And that's another thing, for the love of all that's good and holy, we just need to let go of. We make our efforts, and our efforts are not futile. And as Harimandir said, she said it so nicely, is uh, our efforts here affect the now everywhere. And I thought of this story, and with this I'll close, but um, many years ago in the 40s, my mother and my grandmother and a few women, through Herculean efforts, managed to get train tickets to go to Washington, D.C. to testify before Congress. They were adopting the UN Charter. But what they had done is they had tacked a bunch of, you know, given it a good name, like the Patriot Act, and tacked a bunch of stuff in there. I might have even talked about this before. But the part of the story that's standing out today is, so they went to Washington, D.C., and they testified, and they said, and they first they were told they couldn't testify, then they were mistreated publicly. You know, congressmen said humiliating things to them, but they still got up and they spoke their truth. And they said, among the most important things right now today is, they said, here, in this section here, you are giving the president of the United States more war powers than is allowed for, and that, you know, among the 3 branches of government, you're going to unbalance that, and you're going to give the president more war powers than a president should have. Well, they were disregarded entirely. They were literally the only people who spoke up. 50 years later, my sister read a story in a magazine about the adoption of the UN Charter, and it was the anniversary, and she's reading this obscure magazine, and in the 3rd paragraph, they start quoting my grandmother. And the man goes on to say that everything these women predicted, these women who were so reviled and disregarded, everything that they had been concerned with had transpired in the course of 50 years. And my sister was so excited, and she called my mother and was saying, oh my God, Mom, you know, like, after 50 years, you've been vindicated. And my mom said, oh, we had so much fun going down on the train. And it was funny because my sister was so furious that my mother, like, didn't feel the vindication. And I laughed when she told me this story because I understood my mother and my grandmother. They just spoke their truth. They just stood up and did what they knew was the right thing to do. Did it have the effect they wished it would? No. But did it affect the now and and the now and the now and the now? Yes, it did. Because, and that is what I felt like, my mother was on to the next thing. They did their thing, and then they just continued their life, and that's how. Um, I don't know if this is translating to everybody this story, but to me it was like I loved my mother's response because it was a significant thing in her life. It was a potent moment. It was something she shared with us. But the fact that it didn't go the way she had hoped was not something she fixated on at all. It was more a story she told us about the personal power we have and the responsibility that we have to step up and to declare our truth and to stand up for what's right. And like, I think in this time, if we fixate on having things go the way we want them to go, we're going to be in trouble, and 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 perhaps give into a sense of futility. When in fact, what's necessary is for us to simply step up. I hope that wasn't too long and windy, but those are the things that came up.
Beautiful.
Yes. So thank you, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I'm so grateful. And that's me out.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So how can we move from lies to truth and watch out for power? Stay with humility. Is that right? Okay. Thank you, dear. Japa Saraswati.
I want to say first to Sad City that one story I've always remembered about you was when we were staying in the guest space in Millis. And I don't remember how it came up, but I'd known you already for quite a while. And then you told me that you were legally blind.
Oh,
And yeah, and I remembered thinking to myself, and I said it to you, I said it out loud, and I was just like, oh my God, Set City, that explains everything because it was why you have such strong second sight that you developed this extrasensory perception. And then when you got your eye surgery in 2020 and your pupils dilate with this com computerized sort of mechanism, you guys should see it. It flashes in the middle of her eye. And so you have long been a bionic woman. And that was my first thought when you said your message about the housing in Harimandir's hometown was that, of course, you've always had the second sight, so you know exactly what's going on.
oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you.
So my message was about how we can heal and heal ourselves and others. And the first message that I got from Baba is that healing is an inside job. And he said that no healer, no shaman, no doctor does it for us, that the body heals itself, that it is our self-regenerative and recoveratory processes. We don't get it from a guru, we don't get it from a bottle. It's not from anything outside of the self. It's completely from within ourself. It's something that our body will miraculously do on its own. And there are things that we can do to help our body along by taking good care of ourselves, by giving ourselves the best nutrition, by opening our nadis through physical practices like cardio and pranayam and asana and spiritual practices. Um, but essentially that the body heals itself. And he also showed me the posture of Balasana, which is sometimes called baby pose or embryo or child's pose. And this posture, um, first, it stimulates the pituitary gland, but it is an incredibly restorative and regenerative posture. So he showed me this. And then we came to Shunia again. He gave me the lesson about Shunia again, which just to refresh everybody's memory, I'm sure you guys all know this, but that Shunya is it in Sanskrit, one of the meanings is zero, it's nothingness or emptiness. And what he reminded me was that when we suspend the breath, especially at the bottom of the breath, so all of the breath is suspended out of the body, um, that we are practicing the state of Shunya, and that this place is a place really for rebirth and for regeneration. Excuse me. Um, Yeah, and that it does all kinds of wonderful things. It cleans the cells through a process of autophagy, and it helps stimulate new cell growth, um, and it helps to regulate the way that we carry oxygen through the cells. It stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. It does all kinds of wonderful things for the body to be in this state of shunya. So he showed me like suspending the breath and doing meditation like that. He also showed me that we can help ourselves to get into the state of shunya by doing pranayama or cardio like before we do this kind of breath work so that our blood is pumping and that our blood is oxygenated and that our heart is pumping, that will really help us to get there. And then what he also mostly showed me was deep, deep compassion for the self, to soften into the hard places. And what he reminded me is that the things that I always thought were my weaknesses are actually my strengths. And that, like I feel really hard on myself, say, for example, about my weaknesses. And I just feel really self-conscious or like, yeah, that those are the weakest places in me. And instead of hardening at that, instead of calcifying and getting dense and heavy and inflexible about those places, really soften into the hardness of life and really soften into those places that I think of as weaknesses and showing great compassion for myself in those places, in those ways to prepare myself. It's about preparation and it's about um, easing the way for those things. That's what that compassion is about, because basically what he showed me is that the more we harden around it, that the more it becomes dense, concrete, and inflexible are the notes that I took, and that it makes things much harder. But that when we can soften into these things, what I felt was like a lubrication and a flexibility and a yeah, just an ease. Um, and I guess that was my message.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, that's lovely. Okay, so now be sure to remember what we're talking about and what we will be about who we are and what we are. Isn't that amazing?
Mhm.
It's just be aware who we are and what we are. Everybody. Because this is a big deal. This is it. Okay. Did anybody else say something? Okay. Okay. So come together. And Sun City, would you, what do we say? Oh, to sing the sing. The song.
Okay. How about
Okay. Yeah.
may the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light
Light
within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on.
Inhale.
Deep inhale.
And love you, each of you. Love you, love you, love you. Okay. And help yourself and help others. Thank you. God
Satnam.
bless you.
Satnam, everyone. Thank you.
Satnam, everyone.
Um,
Adios.